So if I send her out to deal with, mutant matters, that's what I'm doing. So I would send her and an
Certainly, yeah.
entourage to Untergard to try and form some sort of relationship with the mutants that are inhabiting that region.
Okay. So I guess then she will be dispatched along with a suitable protective bodyguard. So when the
Contingent, I suppose.
it would be the good word. Um, okay, for the sake of argument here too, it would. You do know that right outside of the city there's another little village called Roche, sort of turned into a base camp for a goblin tribe. So the two closest villages, Windsor, a Hydra that has like a black metal chariot still chained to it, and Roche has a small goblin tribe there. The next closest one, Fintel, my notes say, seems to be a interesting location for beastmen are also spotted from time to time. They haven't claimed it so much as they just sort of go through it. Uh, some of the hunters and scouts note that kind of pockmarked throughout the village are large, like they're not really sure what to make of them. There's sort of large uh, circles of stone that are covered within the circle of stones, like a bonfire pit, are chewed up bones and a lot of blood. Um, from that, they don't find anything like there's a lot of footprints. It stinks to high heaven, but they haven't had any like real presence there. So
Right.
far as Harsum, and that's the last one that's a part of it, to be completely abandoned.
Yeah, because it was my initial plot to separate the people that we have in Grimmenhagen now and, repopulate these territories. But I can see why that wouldn't be happening with the current chaos inhabitants.
Well, the other option is to create new zones. So rather than go to the old ones to try to rebuild them, you could try to build a new settlement the way that Alexa has.
I think everybody's familiar with my posted Rediker plan. The building of zones that would become targets on purpose that we would then supply and ensure those people stayed as safe as possible, so that they would then become the targets of all these chaos things, so that our main settlements remain safe, and that we can then, reinforce our positions with advanced warning instead of just falling to whatever attacks come our way.
The other thing to keep in mind out too is that since the storm of chaos, every region, and I'm following kind of the rules into the book of for the border princes, there are a number of homesteads or smaller settlements that are just sort of too small to notate on the map. The homesteads out there, but nobody has really scouted the area. So apart from the main settlements and Middenstag, Fort Middenstag, there territory. So is there? Do you want to just patrol the immediate area around Grimmenhagen and sort of reinforces it as a fortress, or do you want to send scouts out looking for things, or
Well, unfortunately, at this point, that falls to an NPC to decide. Gerhard is our military commander in these matters, and Gerhard controls that.
oh, I'm actually like thinking to include Morden into it. He can be more than one advisor, technically.
Yeah, but the idea is that we
When you
have
think of it.
specialists in control of certain things. That way, when something bad happens, we're like, it's your fault.
Sure. Well, since we have him as an NPC, you can still dictate what he would do.
Well,
Just
what?
this be then for
All right, well, Gerhard, what is our current military situation? I mean,
military
beyond you just
situ.
tell everything you just told us. I mean, what's our military situation as in numbers of people? What do we got? What are we working with?
Sure. Well, as far as the number of specialists and soldiers that you could muster, uh, of people have sort of gotten back into supporting the local economy and rebuilding things, but certainly with the population of 4,000, of which a good chunk of them were fighters, you could probably muster probably 400 to 500 people at any given time. Straight up just warrior types. Now, they wouldn't be the best equipped, maybe not the best disciplined, but in terms of sheer numbers, it's pretty solid.
All right, and what did our scouts say about Fintel, other than the beastmen? Like, do we have numbers? Do we have situational data? What do we got?
Let's see here. Roll a D100. Okay. Well, with 53, we're assuming that your folks are at least if they're the scouts. So, as far as Fintel goes, pinning down an exact number, there's probably between 1 to 200 of them. To spend time focusing just on that little town or village. Do you want to do that, or?
I believe, and I suspect that Gerhard would have to advise me one way or the other, that retaking Fintel would be the more important of the local townships, specifically because it's tied both to river and road travel back to Untergard, and I think Untergard should be our primary focus in the forthcoming weeks.
Okay. So then the goal is to get intelligence on Fintel then. Okay. So as far as the information that can be gained after posting, probably at any time 50 sets of eyes are watching the town and surrounding area at all hours of the time. The or Beastman herd around Fintel seems to be moving around that valley, but it's bizarrely the reports are coming in that it's a strange sort of almost fertility cult. The or the language that they're yelling, they call themselves the Blood Gorge Band, but the leader is actually a Minotaur, and they seem to take great delight in just gorging themselves in food and then rutting in fertility rites.
Remind me, which chaos god is that again?
Slaanesh.
Slaanesh? Yes.
Probably around Slaanesh, yeah.
Which I think means that I need to wipe them out.
So that what happens at
Well, I
least
believe
with
Slaanesh stands in opposition to Zench, which is, again, removing the curtain is who I follow. Obviously, I just said I was Purple Hand. That's not really.
To be fair, all Chaos Gods are against each other to some degree.
Well, no, there
Exactly.
are direct opposites that stand opposed to one another. But it's more like
Slaanesh is opposite to Korn, but
well, no, not in all
it's
things.
opposite to everyone.
Yeah, Korn is more anti-magic. Slaanesh, I think, is directly
but he really
opposite.
no, he really hates Slaanesh, really, like, and everyone is kind of against Slaanesh because he has the most followers.
Well, no,
so...
I mean, like, it's like a rock paper scissors sort of thing. There's one that's like really hates another, and then one that really hates another. Otherwise, they're all slightly opposed to one another, but each one hates one specifically. And I know Korn hates magic in general, so Korn against Zench, but I think Zench is mostly against Slaanesh. I'm not 100% on that.
Usually they all hate the most whoever
it's
is like the most powerful right now.
as far as the basemen go, what they'll do is probably once a week or maybe even once every couple weeks, hire herd of them, which is numbering at approximately 150, will all come into this village. They will, or the ruins of this, along with probably anywhere between 24 to 50 captures or people or human goblins or anything else. Half of them will be devoured. The other half seem to be mated with, I guess you could say. And horrific orgy of blood and chaos. Some new beastmen children are conceived as a result of this. Others just sort of explode into mutants, and it's not grisly, or excuse me, it's not good. It's rather grisly and disgusting. But then they go away after they're done with that, leaving nothing but the ring of stones with the remains of corpses and mottled, twisted flesh from fail.
Oof. Well, at least undoubtedly from all this, they are definitely going to be building their numbers and rather rapidly given this.
Right. It's hard to tell where where they're getting these people because they kind of disappear into the forests, but they do appear to be going east into Elector Count Ludenhoff's lands. Far as what you do know the villages of Bergendorf and Barwedel have been destroyed. Fort Schippel still remains. And as far east as Hergig, there are a couple small towns that were destroyed, but people still have to, be living in the forests, so they have to be coming from somewhere.
Well, I mean, unless Gerhard advises otherwise, I still think Fintel should be our primary recapture point. It connects Untergard by both river and road, and Untergard is the next largest settlement in the region to be recaptured.
Right.
So,
as far as threats go, this herd of beastmen at least seems to be happy to do its own thing for now. So it's the least threatening in one sense, but also the most in a future sense.
Well, I'm saying more from
probably the most directly threatening. They have a direct line to us and are the closest.
Wait, which one are you saying?
The ones in Roche.
Right, but like I said, my
probably by the Hydra.
My opinion is more based on a expansion route, on the retaking of Untergard rather than the defense of our local region. Fintel is more of a more important staging ground to the recapture of Untergard than it is itself the biggest threat.
Absolutely.
As far as Grimmenhagen goes, it's a large enough settlement where the closest threats could actually stand up against it, but there's certainly a pain in the ass if you try to go there. The Beastmen, at least with Fintel, are the for the road to Untergard. You can certainly pass through the area when they're not around. They don't come back set schedule. So
right, but I just mean if we retake it, we can resettle people there, rebuild the infrastructure, and then travel to Untergard by both river and road.
Okay. Mm-hmm. How do you want to go about doing that?
Gerhard, do you not have any opinions of your own? You're not being a very good advisor.
Well, there's a number of potential options you could pursue. You could always go there when they're not physically present. It is on a river, so they could always position themselves on the village in the river. So if they try to cross over and fire on them, they could try to ambush them during one of their rituals. They could always go on the opposite end and then pin them against the river. As far as trying to do a siege, it seems as though it's a little bit tricky because they are so mobile.
Right, but our people are experienced in this matters. They did. I said, yeah, but our people are experienced in these matters. They did just successfully siege Grimmenhagen.
Right. Yeah, you guys are infantry and they're almost quasi-cavalry as beastmen.
Sort of.
I do quite like the ambush idea for that particular reason. It takes away their primary advantage.
I will consider Griff to be speaking on part of Gerhardt then. Seeing he's the only one speaking up.
Hello, I'm Gerhardt.
Well, I don't want to be wrong 2 times in a row.
Well, I mean, we could also just be playing this out like we're sitting in the castle chambers, and this is a meeting of the advisors where we all are talking.
That's
You're all
pretty-
lords
Right, I've
here,
been kind of
technically.
picturing us all just like on our ivory thrones in a circle or something here.
Yeah, some sort
You're
of
then on a
roundish
throne of
table.
skulls.
Oh yeah, Ghostbuster 2, why not? I'm Vigo!
So, yes, you could certainly be free to discuss the issue.
Huh.
Let's say you, Minister of Trade.
Not me. Yes.
It's
Let's say
hard as a
you.
Well-
GM because I can't, I can't be working against myself.
Well, I
so to
mean, you
speak,
could always,
so.
I don't know, like roll his intelligence and say, give me bad advice or good advice. I don't know his stats. I haven't looked at his sheet.
Yeah. As
Okay.
Victor, as Minister of Trade here, I would have to say we don't have a lot of connection to anywhere else yet that's really safe. If we push to the south, we have the chance of expanding, but we don't really connect to our neighbors very much. I suppose it could get us a safer path to Del Breeze, but that's still a very long and arduous set of tasks ahead of us.
Fintel is a connection both road and river, which would be better transport for goods leaving Grimmenhagen.
If I were to suggest perhaps the easiest way to get out of Grimmenhagen and into trading, we could always go across the Howling Hills, meet up at Planters, or perhaps take a river and head to Delbers from there.
That's a lot of
That
travel.
seems like the safest trade route right now.
Is it? Rumor has it the Howling Hills are filled with bandits, as well as beastmen.
This is true, but of course I only said the safest. I didn't say it was safe.
Wait, what? I only said it was the safest. I didn't say it was safe.
Exactly.
Plane travel is the safest travel. Don't mind the ones that go down.
What's in that pipe you're smoking there, Victor?
That's for me to know, and only the Emperor to find out when he
Also,
gets here.
river travel is faster.
Do we really need to open up the trade rates now?
Open up the what?
Trade routes, trade rates.
Yes, in fact, because people are starving.
Well, then
It would definitely alleviate a lot of our problems and mean that we don't always have to have a specialty answer in our hands.
We could, the most practiced road, not the safest, but is still to Middenheim.
That takes you through some very dangerous territory.
This is true, but no other option is really safe.
Right. As far as like the direct routes, Middenheim it has the most established infrastructure, but other villages are doing. It's
If we push to the north and leave garrisons of people to hold down the fort, we might just yet be able to reopen a route to Middenheim.
As Captain Gerhard would say, I think it would definitely be the hardest battle to fight our way back to Middenheim. With the Beastmen, we have a chance of ambushing them. With goblins, we maybe have some chance of coming up with a strategy. With a giant, multi-headed monster, people are undoubtedly going to die in the attack.
Then
And also-
we can take roaches and notice it. We can travel by boat until we're near to Crudenwald and go by foot of the face, or go to Benestead.
Not to meta a little bit, but also remember that Gerhard is hard up to get Untergard back. So
Yeah.
Yes.
really, he should be siding with me on this. I feel.
This is true, but this is me providing the logical military perspective.
Right.
He still wants Untergard, but he's definitely saying it is the hardest fight to go north.
Well, yeah, that does agree
So
with
the
me.
easiest fight is to the south.
No,
where he wants to go.
I advise if we take up Roach, establish a trading post by boat, we might be able to reach Crudenwald and Bernesug and do some trading with minimal losses.
well, this would be a good time to do common knowledge the Empire.
I was really hoping you would say this would be a good time for charm checks. See who Berthold likes the most. You know, your reasoning is sound and fine, but you rolled badly, so I'm going with the other cat.
Woo!
Oh. Well, Waldemar, you've succeeded with 2 degrees of success.
It's a bad day to roll.
Berthold.
Berthold
Sad,
never
sad.
has fate points, so it doesn't matter. I'm never re-rolling.
Well, Krudenwald and Bensberg actually were sacked by Chaos, so certainly trading with them, they would
Oh.
have a very high demand for goods, whatever it is that you produced. But as far as something material coming back, there's not going to be much that they can trade for.
Alright, so I would not have proposed this plan.
Also, I do want to point out that reconvening and retaking Untergard would secure the south of our province. Because we could reconnect with Middenstag, help support them to clear out the Howling Hills, and then we push north. I feel like we have a giant table with a bunch of chess pieces or something in front of us. You know, one of those little push sticks. We start pushing pieces
So
around.
I ran out of Beastmen figurines, so we're gonna have to use the Lizardmen to represent those.
Mordrin, you finished
And we'll have to
carving?
use the human guard tokens.
Mordrin, you finished carving those new pieces for our board yet?
What I'm worrying about
Working on
is
it.
if we push too far south, the north will attack us.
Right, but the south is rife with individual threats. Also, if we retake Untergard and we have a complete line to Tildilbreeze and its surrounding provinces, which are themselves unmolested, unlike every town connected between Crudwald and... Sorry, these names are underneath the Hushland words. I can't tell their names. Bensberg.
Bensberg, I guess we're going to call it. I can't find any background information on it anywhere.
Yeah, a lot of these places are just the names of places that got sacked and how many people were left in them sort of scenarios.
Exactly.
Right.
But Bensberg is
So-
actually large enough where it looks like there was something there. Krudenwald exists, but I can't find anything for Bensberg. But
But yeah, like I said, if we reconnect to Untergard, we get all the river trade routes back, plus a free road back to Delbreeze and all the towns there surrounding that are just fine.
We would be stuck at Rush as well. They could
Out of curiosity,
Yeah, but that's
how's
to the north.
Middenstag holding up these days?
Sorry, what was that?
How's Middenstag holding up these days?
Middenstag it's got its hands full. It was originally a garrison of 200 knights, so these were actually
They were the Panthers.
people to fight. Right, Knights Panther, but it's been reduced down to 50. So their original goal to keep the road clear of traffic has been, well, Untergard doesn't exist anymore, so you've got half of that territory that doesn't need to be patrolled. But
Mhm.
they're also surrounded on all sides by hostile threats. So to keep Delbers and the Howling Hills open and keeping Middenstag from being cut off.
Right.
They're also
their
a
own
fortress, as a reminder, which means that we would have a solid military presence in the south to aid with things. Again, they're not under our purview. They are Toddbringer's personal territory. This happens to be within us. But yeah, I'm not messing with Toddbringer. Don't worry about
I
that.
don't want to bring
He's got his hands full.
My plans, in fact, were to help reinforce them, resupply them with new recruits and stuff. But yeah, like I said, we get to Middenstag and we can secure the south and then move north from there.
If I were an artist, I would actually try to create something called a hot toddy. Show him in like a chainmail bikini, and
Oh no.
but I'm not, so I can't. But in any case,
So I guess in terms of voting for future plans here, I guess it sounds like most people are saying the South. Deal with Fennel first.
How about you make a roll and see who gets the best one? I'm not going to roll. This is
like a Sounds as
Okay.
though Waldemar is of the opinion to go to Roche, because if you
Yes.
if you take out Roche, you gain access to the rivers there, and you also gain access to Crudenwald and Bensberg, which are closer to their partners versus going up the river going to the south, which goes all the way to Altdorf, but it's far away.
Could I reroll that?
Certainly can.
Nope.
So let's see here.
Yeah, but everybody else might fail by more degrees. Like I said, I'm just gonna go with the plan that has a better pitch. We're gonna use charm as the
Yeah.
pitch. I'm not
Who's-
rolling, so
Let's see, does
Big.
Captain Schiller? I think he does have a. Griff, you were the one who had this last. I don't know where all these. It's just a wall.
Oh,
of-
they're in the NPCs tab. Here we go.
I saw
So,
Granny earlier. I seen her. I know she's there.
Attack.
There he is.
charm. He's got gossip. He's got a good bit of gossip.
yeah, but you can't gossip your pitch.
I think this would. Yeah,
Well,
rolled it. So Victor tried to make his argument, or Captain.
Yeah, that's Captain there.
Who said, "Well,
Captain
you know,
is trying
maybe
to say, let's press south.
Yeah, 5
He doesn't
degrees
make
of
the best
failure.
argument.
No. It's a shame. I was really hoping for him. So far, he's looking like Walder still. What about Victor? What was his pitch?
Good question. What exactly does Victor think now? He
Make
was kind of
friends with
proposing
him.
to go north. Or did I change my mind? I can't remember. I'm trying to juggle two characters. What was the last thing Victor said?
good question. I don't know."
Problem is that you were talking in the same voice with both characters.
I know.
The area that's directly to the west of Grimmelhagen is actually rather tame. It's
yeah, it was proposing to pass through the Howling Hills.
Which
Um,
means
if-
not doing anything.
if you look into if you zoom up a little bit closer onto the map, you'll see that Fintel has kind of a bluish area that represents like cleared, river farmlandy types, but kind of the standard whitish
Oh, yeah.
means it's hilly. So west of Grimmenhagen, the ends, but it's also hillier, so it's a bit more rugged than
Alright.
bed.
So Victor's gonna lay down his proposal and his charm check here and go. I still support trying to reach Middenheim again. If we can clear out Windsor and the one Hydra there, then we'll have access to 2 empty villages for the price of 1. And he just
Also an
holds up
idea.
like 2 fingers and then 1 finger with the other hand to just make his point as adorably as possible.
I mean, you've clearly won unless
Mhm.
unless Mordrin has a pitch. I just have to wonder what you mean 2 for the price of 1.
Well, Harsum is completely abandoned. There's nobody there.
I mean, it's also off the road, but yeah, gay. I mean, did Mordrin have a pitch that he wanted to pitch?
Well,
Mordrin, what are your thoughts?
I was thinking Fintel and Untergard would be the best to focus on at first. I don't really have any concrete reason except I agree with the others who are pitching those. So I'm going to
Can
I
you
guess-
beat 2 degrees of success on a charm roll?
not with a 12, but I'll try.
You can try it.
You can.
Yeah, if
you-
we just stick to charm rules, I have the feeling Victor's gonna dominate everyone.
Yeah.
Victor's the Halfling Mafia boss.
Hey, I mean, in this case, it was just a who can talk to me better. Who knows? Next time it might be an intelligence thing. Who can give a more reasoned argument?
It's a fun tiebreaker way. I like it.
Yeah.
Certainly, the Hydra seems to be the biggest of the threats, so eliminating it does get you access to 2 of the villages that you could repopulate.
I mean, it seems to be the way to go, so I have been convinced. Gerhardt, set your forces to it.
Yes, sir. Right away, sir. I
So-
keep experimenting with voices.
No, it was good.
Find a good one for him.
So the Hydra then, do you want, if they're going to do intel first, they should probably,
Where is Gustav when we need him?
I don't know, where's that shadow mage?
Yeah,
We
where
have
is
it
he?
on. There's an empty chair in our midst.
Just you turn away for 1 second, turn back. There's a mage there suddenly. Turn
Yeah.
away again, gone again.
about a week to get down there, if there were no threats in the woods. So who knows?
Oh yeah, that's actually a good point. If we clear up the
Yeah.
road,
We have a
suddenly
mage.
we get another advisor.
Let's say, how important is this advisor that we have to throw hundreds of men at a hydra to
Here's
It's a
get them
shadow
here?
mage.
Here
So
to throw hundreds of my men at your disposal.
I mean, the last shadow mage we know strangled the Chaos Warrior to death just by lifting his finger.
I mean, the last Shadow Mage I know, I don't remember. That's what Lash would say.
Also, yeah.
I guess Lash could always have a position.
Yeah.
Well, yes. Since Lash is technically the voice of the elves, what are his
He
thoughts?
speaks for the trees.
Speaks for the trees, for the trees have no tongues, and he's telling you, sir, at the top of his lungs.
I mean, Lash isn't here. He's not in the. He's not in the
Yeah.
advisory council. I know he's my
That's
other.
fine.
I know he's my other character, but I'm not doing that. Lash has his own motivations and wants and
I'm
desires.
sure he's hanging out at Planters, having a grand time.
No, remember, again, hasn't been said in a long time. Lash is searching for a cure for the condition of his homeland, which has been, I don't know what the word here I'm looking for, magically poxed.
Oh.
His home in the forest is the one that has the rot growing within it, and it's spreading out, and everybody knows if it spreads
no.
outside of that territory, it's going to go to the rest of the forest. So that's why he's a wanderer. He's out in the world trying to learn magic, trying to figure out a way to solve the problem.
Alright, so he's busy. He's got his thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I mean,
we'll
he's
give-
around, but he's he's doing his own concerns.
He
Okay.
doesn't care if a bunch of human dies. He has bigger things to worry about.
Let's go switch to a different map here.
Yeah, so we're not doubled up.
This will be the new.
Because on the overlay,
As,
it's the overworld map on the upper right hand corner. So we've had big map, same map in the upper right hand corner. Just funny.
Does it look okay or
Yeah.
Yep, looks good.
okay?
Hold on, I just gotta put like a sign out front here.
Oh, that's the
So
name
the
of the
four of you-
place. Okay, I thought that was what just about to happen.
Well, as far as Victor has gone out to Captain Schiller to look into this Hydra situation and get more information and try to combat it. And you have sent out the Shadow Mage to join us here in Grimmelhagen. But there are two individuals that are hanging around the bar, or the long fight. So let's call it by its proper name.
Do you mind if I add one more person to this scene?
Sure.
Somebody else who also hangs around with me all the time. You might have remembered him from the siege.
Oh yes, your Grima Wormtongue looking motherfucker there.
Oh, you don't know Durka?
He kind of looks like Doc Brown in a way, but with longer hair.
No, that's Durka from Farscape. Commander Durka.
Scott. Anyway, so the long fight and kind of the Waldemar is tending to the former bad guys, but may not be still bad guys, convicts, and is spent with those individuals talking to two characters over here. One of them is a overly affable character with a giant smile on his face constantly, who's referred to as Smilin' Bodger. He's a dapper-looking halfling character, and next to him, as his sort of attaché counterpart, is a dwarf that it constantly looks like he's pissed off. He's like the exact opposite of Bodger. They only call him Pucky, and he seems to never have a kind word to say, but there seems to be a little bit of a buzz going on in the bar. And Waldemar you're probably the one to first notice, like that. Yeah, you don't know what these two are up to.
Okay.
All right.
Victor probably has like one person with him at the bar who works here at the inn with him.
It's very
So
likely
it's
you have serving staff. So
right. Given the price and the way the inns work, it's like, well, you could have one, maybe two, on average. Maybe if I'm really successful, I could have three.
okay.
That's where Victor's at right now. So it's going to be a lot of work between them, and Victor might even like go up and like take their orders and say hello and strike up conversation too.
So, or we will. Well, actually, if you maybe this is still something to do as the pregame session, since you do probably have a general manager of your bar. Let's do a gossip check. What are you looking for as this person?
I'm definitely looking for someone both hardworking and very fun to talk to. Someone who can keep people talking around the inn and have them have a good time.
You're looking
And
for a
also take the
servant, or
orders. Yeah, basically someone who runs the inn.
okay,
Who works for me at the inn, I suppose. Since I kind of like take the role of cook here, more or less.
okay. And are you looking for a fellow halfling? Are you looking for a human? Or for an elf? What do you have any specifics there?
I would take just about anyone, but of course, well, halflings are my best friend, so if the choice came up, would probably choose one first.
So I would make a gossip check and add a +10 to it, since you're a little specific, but not so much. And in this large of a town, there's certainly a number of people to choose from.
By the way, 96 to gossip.
Jeez. Okay. Well, you are able to find a charming young halfling woman, who is more than happy to serve in that capacity. She's worked before in an inn before. A token here for her, but I'll make a note for that for next time. Yes, she's your number 2 person at the gate.
Excellent. I can do the cooking, you can bring it out to people, and we'll try to keep everyone entertained. I think we got this in hand.
Absolutely. She starts to notice Smile and Bodger a little bit. She seems to be taken in by him quite a bit, and you notice occasionally she'll be over there kind of flirting with him, and he flirts to everybody, it seems. So he's just this sort of like animal magnetism personality, whereas Pucky is a black hole. Occasionally Greta will even forget to bring his order just because she doesn't want to give it to them. So
Wait, your last thing you said she didn't want to bring the orders over there?
To Pucky, like she avoids Pucky a little bit, so.
Okay. Well, when she comes around, I'll just go, if you're feeling a little uncomfortable, I can go ahead and bring this plate. It doesn't take that much effort to keep this pot stirring.
Oh, sure thing, boss. I'll take care of it. Ugh.
Alright, so I'll go ahead and take the food over to the other one she's not so fond of, and just try to be all nice and smiles. Here you go, sir. Hope everything's going great today for you.
Pucky sort of looks over his large dwarven nose and sort of glares at you and says it smells like pig shit.
Oh, so you've noticed the improvement then?
He kind of and upon hearing that happen, Bodger starts to, "Oh, I'm so sorry. Cousin, oh my goodness, you must be the proprietor, Victor Sweet. I've heard so much about you. It's so good to see a fellow successful halfling, and oh, don't mind Pucky, he's arm school. I'm Bodger. It's a lovely opportunity to finally meet you."
Oh, you caught me a little bit off guard. Cousin, is that more literal?
Oh no.
Do you have
I have knowledge
genealogy?
halflings.
Do it.
Time to go insane, everybody. Once you hear a halfling's family tree.
You get to hear 2 of them in a row.
No.
I go, well, let me see, our family tree. Well, you see, Oscar Hildebrand, that toad from the swamp, begat Greta, who built her own tavern in the mood, whose son Hugo Sweet took over the tavern, and whose son Alfred Sweet was a damn fine cook, whose son Edgar didn't like the way that people made fun of the goat-shaped mark on his face, so he left a cow's rock, but he didn't know anything
I
about the
renounce my
farm.
vote and kill the
Yes, that reminds me of my great aunt Edna, who had a stable hand whose name was Marcus, but he lost his eye after a mule kicked him in it. Right, just terrible thing that. But then he got really good at sling stoning, which is funny because he had no depth perception. And it kind of goes back like that, back and forth and back and forth.
10 generations, we both recite.
Yeah, so it's turning into this like. Waldemar puts his hands over his head or his ears, and
No, he's too polite for that. He just quickly go take a break.
so yeah, this is the scene where the 2 Flanders go back and forth, diddly diddly, haddly diddly 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 diddly. Yeah. Sure if he's connected to you or not, but he seems, yeah, kind of wants to be his friend a little bit.
Well, whether we are or not, you're a damn fine fellow, and that's good enough for me.
Yes, so I have to ask you a question, my good friend, my close. You're practically like a brother to me already, and you know I was hearing something actually about some strange goings on out in the woods out there. It sounds like there's sort of bizarre lights out there, and I was telling myself, Bodger, should really have somebody go take a look out. There might be something valuable or something mysterious, but I don't know if I have the wherewithal to do it myself. So I was looking around to see if I could find some brave individuals who might be for me for a lovely sum in reward, I'm sure.
Ooh, out in the woods, Bodger, that's just no good. There's lots of nasty stuff out there, They got lots of fancy lights, but I don't think they're gleaming metal or anything out there. Oh no, I think it's a bunch of will-o-wisp or nasty spirits or something of the like. At least that's what everyone around here is saying. But no one's quite worked up the bravery to check it out yet. You got a fine, brave dwarf over there. He looks like, he's perfect.
Oh, Pucky? No, Pucky's a pussycat. And upon saying that, Pucky looks up at him and gives him the glare of death and says, "I'll tear out your teeth with my hands." Sort of look. It's like he's.
See, he's
more
got the perfect attitude for it. He's ripe and ready to go.
Here, Smiling Bodger is going to attempt to his wit. Let's see. Can you do an opposing charm roll? He has essentially 1 degree of success.
All right. Do I get any bonus or penalty here?
It's a straight roll.
Just straight roll. Let's do it.
He's just laying it on thick, and he's such an affable fellow that you're kind of won over by maybe there is something out there, and
you're just such a nice sweet guy. If there's something in it, I bet we could all split it up, and I bet everyone in this village could be so much happier.
That's what I was thinking too. It's you kind of, it is a little bit of a rumor, but I was once told by a wandering elven fellow. I think he was a minstrel of sorts, but he mentioned something about some lost woman whose heart broken, and she cried for 30 days, and at the end of it, she turned into nothing more than tears became like silver clouds, and she herself became a spirit or something. It just reminded me of that, and the thing that stuck out to me was her wedding ring. You see, it was made out of a very, very rare form of metal. I think the dwarves have a word for it. They call it gromril. Have you ever heard of gromril before?
Oh no, afraid not. I've only heard of gold and silver, which Hopefully it's more valuable than that. Is it
Oh
like
my
leaning in
heavens, yes.
conspiratorially, you know?
Let's see. Do you have the evaluate skill?
Oh boy, do I. It's only a 52. I mean, that's still something.
Sure.
Oh,
Holy
I
cow.
really know.
You actually have heard of Gromroll before. It's sometimes the dwarves make armor out of it, and it's considered the finest in the world. So much so that it doesn't have a price, as it's considered priceless. But a ring of that variety would probably be in the market of several thousand crowns, at least.
Victor's just gonna kind of like give a low whistle. Ring like that, ooh, could set a man up for quite some time.
You see, the thing about it is that with this whole army going through, it did kind of happen in this area about, well, gosh, story goes back a couple thousand years, but did everything so well. I think that what's out there is that legend, and more specifically, I think that's the Grumroll Ring, and I think it's magical.
Ooh,
You're
and
on the
it's
level,
magical.
like I think you are. You and I, brother, cousin,
Brother,
boy,
yes.
we could
Brother.
make a lot of money. The first time Pucky actually looks up and he's not fully scowling is when ring is said. Her cousin. Yeah, exactly.
This guy is full of shit. Like, can I try you?
You don't
If you want to
trust
come
Mylan
back and
Bodger?
listen in.
Yeah.
Why don't you just look at that dapper grin on his face? He's on the level. He knows what's up.
He's
And
full
he's
of
looking
shit.
for friends. You know, he just needs help finding it.
Yeah, that's so people die and I have to stitch them up before they die. So no.
Well, as it happens, Waldemar,
All right, maybe he's not. Maybe it's
the
just.
people you have noticed, well, whether or not you can tell he's lying or what have you, it's you're not really focused on that so much as the noise of the goblin banter, halfling banter, same thing really. Kind of gave you an earache, but you have noticed that at least maybe 20 or 30 convicts are kind of taking him up on his offer. There's discussion now of, yeah, let's go check out the woods at night to see what's out there.
There are only beastmen and death out there. Do you want to die the way a mutant die?
Aren't these the people you're
Wait,
supposed to
Come
be
on,
talking to?
where's your spirit of adventure? Where's your excitement, Waldemar?
Exactly.
It died with my village.
Aren't you supposed to
And
be
my
talking to
Well,
these
let's
people,
bring it back to
Waldemar?
life. Let's go out. Let's find a ring. Let's put a world weary woman to rest in her spirit, you know, and find a happy ending to all of this, where we're all a little richer.
More takers of all. You will be joining him soon enough.
He'll just like kind of look at you for a second, like blink very haplessly, and then go, Mordred, Mordred,
Yes,
Grommel,
I heard.
Grommel ring, possibly magic. You do magic stuff, right?
Yes,
Yeah, it's out there. We could find it. You want to come with us, right?
I would like to, but I
Yeah, it's the
don't have a
spirit.
good
And I just slap you on the back and just like start dragging you over to Waldemar and go, see, he'd like to go out too.
Do you have forgotten
One
the
of
horror of
us.
chaos?
Peer pressure. One of
Children
us.
born born with scale in place of the skin.
Yes, I've seen those nasty things. But look,
Children, not things. Not
Oh.
cows into your soul, into your flesh.
well, hopefully none of that'll happen while we're gone.
Smiling Bodger kind of notices the little conversation going on with you, Waldemar, and he actually comes over and says, "Ah, my friend, 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 my friend. Can you not see the opportunity here, my friend? There's so many lost souls in this town that they just light of Shalia to guide them away. And I tell you what, since you seem to be the one that's all concerned about people getting hurt, why I can't think of a more pure and honest thing in the world. How about I give you some startup money? That's right, just a couple gold crowns to help you ease your mind, and just think of what some of that money could buy. I mean, if that's the concern, be more than happy to help fund it if you catch my drift, my friend.
All donations to Shelly are accepted. I do not care myself for such finance.
That's the spirit, he says, and he pulls into
However,
his,
this is not a bribe. You will not convince me to let these people arm themselves and get themselves killed.
Oh, of course I don't want people to. Oh, you sting me with your words, good sir. I have no intention of getting people killed, and just the opposite. I want to see this place get rich beyond measure and have this place be a renewed growth of the North, and have everybody be wealthy and prosperous. And I tell you,
How do
you've
you
got
manage that with one ring?
just think of what that thing could be worth. I mean, with that kind of money.
It's priceless. It's a dwarven artifact, honestly.
It's a ring. We need food, not artifact.
Well, then maybe we should offer it as a donation potentially to Shalia. Maybe we could get in good with the church. I'm certain that.
You don't understand, Waldemar. We need magic too. Like my friend Gustav, he's a really powerful wizard. I hear he's getting really up in there. He used to give us all the magic, but we're kind of we don't quite have him around anymore. So we could always use more magic. Fill in that void.
Magic.
That could always help us to success. A little magic, a little trust and faith in others.
Magic is dangerous. I do not care for such
But it's
ring.
dwarven magic. It's safe. You don't think Mordrin's not safe, do you?
I heard a funny rumor about a dwarven hole near Middenheim.
You shouldn't put your stock into rumors so much. The next thing you'll say that there were rock monsters or some other such nonsense. You shouldn't listen to that stuff.
Yeah, how would a rock even move?
So I should ignore the rock monster but chase the ghost lady for a dwarven ring.
Yeah, that sounds about right.
Well, I tell you what, my friend here, Pucky, and I are going to be around in the long fight and probably in Grimmelhagen for a good long while. So if you're not so keen on it, I'll just let you think about it. And just to show that we're still friends, he says, he puts a gold crown in the palm of his hand and he reaches out as if to shake your hand to give it to you.
I shake his hand, but let him keep his gold crown.
He takes his other hand around yours and said, "No, my friend, I insist, my good friend Waldemar, that you should have this crown and make use of it. Buy poultices or bandages or cloth or robes. I don't know, but treat yourself. Treat the Shullians. I mean, put it to good use."
Very well, I shall.
He kind of smiles even broader and says, "That's the spirit. That's the spirit." So don't mind me. I'm sure a lot of our new friends here will certainly take us up, and we'll see what's out there. But it was a pleasure to meet your acquaintance, and you too, Victor, my cousin, my friend, my.
Yes, my brother.
Like that.
It'll be wonderful to see
Twice
you again.
removed
Please
on the mother's side,
anytime.
of course. It's just yes.
Yes, come by. Get him, get some more ale. Get double the amount even for your friend.
Oh, and yes, you've got yourself quite the looker as your main, I guess, manager. She's not a serving girl. She's too good for that. You've got a looker there in Greta there, Victor.
Well, we're working together. We're working real hard to get this whole place going.
Well, you tell anytime you need some help with anything at all, just feel free to chat me up and let me know what's going. And Pucky too. I'm sure he a little bit grouchy, but deep down he's just a big softy. And
speaking of, you're staying in town, aren't you? Do you have a place to stay? This is the only place to stay, really. You want to stay here?
It's the match made in heaven, I think, and of course I'm happy to pay. I mean,
of course, I'd love to take your money, please.
Blessed be those simple of mind.
They go, but in the grace of God.
Mortar must be quite blessed.
So yes,
I'm probably needed a printout of all these names at some point.
No.
So the question is, do you want to look into this at all?
I definitely do. And hey, I got plenty of people to talk to. I could try hearing more of what they say. Who's gone the closest out there? Who's actually seen a little bit of it? Who actually lived here like a few months ago and knows better?
Sure. Um, go ahead and make a gossip roll.
All right.
Waldemar will try to gently discourage people from it, and as he thinks is losing, like it's already a lost cause, he will pray to Shalia for guidance in his chapel.
Well, Victor, you do manage to find a charcoal burner who has been there in the town. Got sacked. He's kind of an old salt of the earth type of guy, but he says, "Yeah, you don't want to go out and messing with those lights. There's forest. They show up from time to time, but when they go on their way. But ever since the army went through the Chaos Army, they've been a lot more prevalent lately. It's just that they're bad luck. Describe it. Once you see them, you kind of don't want to go near them.
Have you got a really good look at them?
Yeah. If this were Eastern, make the crossover himself and or praise to Sigmar. No, it's I've never had the heart to it. I know somebody who went chasing after one and he never came back.
Oh no, it's terrible.
Oh,
I should suppose I should tell Captain Gerhardt a little bit about this. I'm sure he'd love to make sure that the surrounding area is a little safer, but I guess if it's too deep into the woods, it might take some time.
oh,
Still,
the woods has always been unsafe. It's old. There's a lot of beastmen and goblins and monsters, but there's other things apart from that. I mean, for thousands of years. I don't know what's out there, but some things are best left undisturbed.
Perhaps. But I don't suppose you know of any war widows who are out in the woods at any point.
Are widows? Oh God, the town's positively lousy with them. I mean, if you want to
But I don't
find
suppose
somebody
any of
like
them had
that,
any very expensive, valuable, and obvious rings, did they? See, I've been hearing a little bit of a story, and I was wondering if it was true, if anyone happened to have known this person, especially if they lived out here.
oh, you mean the guy who went chasing after? Oh,
Well, no,
so
I mean the the story I told, and I'll relay him like the story I've been told a little bit.
oh, you mean about
grossly inflating it.
Yeah, about the woman stricken by grief, cried for 30 days, had the ring out there in the forest and all that.
Nay, 50 days.
it's like, yeah, I've heard that before.
Hmm.
It's a story that goes well. It's way up from Nordland all the way through Hockland. It's kind of it's a thing. It's one of those storytelling that just gets. Sometimes it's this. It's Drakwold. Other times it's the Reichwald. Other times it's Atheloran itself. Who knows? But yeah, it could be that. It's. I don't go looking for that kind of trouble.
Oh,
For a
of
second
course. Always safer to be in the city.
have make a perception check actually.
Okay. Perceptorino. Where are you? Perception. Here we go. 52.
Holy
I'm
cow.
real good.
You can tell with the story about the guy who ran after one. He's definitely holding back something, and he doesn't really want to talk about it.
Okay. So I'll go ahead and like push back on that. So you said someone went out there. Yeah? Who was it? Was it recently?
He's pauses and says, what's your spirits? Perhaps maybe something strong."
Oh, you mean you need a drink? Here, let me
Yeah.
pull one out.
Uh, Yeah, takes a bottle of like grain whiskey and pours it and says, "You dude, don't. I don't know why it just this way." He says, and he kind of pulls you close and like he's telling you a really dark secret and says,
Mhm.
"Okay, pour one. Okay, the glasses 3 times. 1, 2, 3. Now drink."
Ah,
And he
chug.
just throws it down. Says, "Okay, it's like this, right? That you don't go near them because they do weird, unsightly. They're not." So my friend, we were maybe young bucks out in the world trying to, chasing girls, trying to find what we were going to do in life, and we're out there in the woods one night, and